Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, where everything you're about to hear and see has been done in one take. I'm your host, the One Take Man. I am once again coming with a video I filmed in my first residence, and because this is the anniversary video, as it just so happens, I thought I would take the opportunity to do what I think I did last year, and talk about the unused video concepts that I've had brewing for over the past 12 months. As such, without too much ado, let's delve into it. Let's delve into that first. With some category exceptions that I've introduced, i.e., ideas of types of videos that I would want to make, but which I, for various reasons, have decided against. Maybe not entirely, but on principle, I am more cautious towards these kinds of videos. Chief among them being karaoke videos. As much fun as it may be as I might find singing, I'm not sure everyone else is going to find my singing particularly interesting, especially depending on, and that depends particularly on the song, for a couple of reasons. First of all, as you might have been able to figure out, I am not a trained singer. I didn't really have any uh, official lessons on that for any level, really. So I'm really just uh, a, a an amateur of moderate skill, perhaps, and that's about it. And secondly, not all songs really fit my timbre, and I as such I kind of have to uh, adjust and kind of have to not adjust, but be more selective in terms of which songs I actually choose to perform. I'll resort to that a little less often than I would like, but I might still return to that well from time to time. The second category refers to test videos uh, or maybe quiz videos. Okay, not quiz videos, but videos where I do but live videos where I do tests, particularly political tests, are pretty much videos I don't think uh, I'll be too interested in anymore in the at least in the near future. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because I've tried some, and on one hand, I don't really think they are as interesting as they could be. Um, for a variety of reasons. Second of all, I did one test where I thought was where I thought it was fine as I was taking it, and then the result came out, and I was like, "How is that my result? Are you biased?" And yeah, that's kind of my inclination for that. I'm really not sure as to what extent I want to fuel other people's biases. So for that reason, that is a category of videos I will sit out for the most part, at least in the uh, at least in the near future. I am pretty sure there was another category of videos I wanted to talk about, but whatever. These are the big ones. Moving ahead, it's time I delved into uh, individual individual video concepts that I've decided to scrap. First of all, a gameplay video of Dictators No Peace. In case you're not familiar with Dictators No Peace, or maybe Dictators No Peace Countryballs, it's a. Uh, do I need to? I should probably explain what Countryballs are first. Countryballs illustrations are illustrations of countries. They are meant to personify. They are meant to personify countries. Remember how you know how political cartoons typically have mascots to represent various either political parties or countries. Well, country balls are basically the modern iteration of that. You just have a circle with a country's flag. Though even then there are some exceptions. Some countries like Nepal aren't circles, And then there are some countries that traditionally have their colors rearranged in some way. Anyway, this game, Dictators No Peace, is what I will very generously refer to as a 4x games as a 4x game, where you have to uh, conquer the rest of the world from your given starting position, and that starting position is and that starting position is can be anywhere within the world, and every country is illustrated through its country ball. And to win this game, you have to conquer every other country through with military might. You do also have the economic capability of you also have economic capability, so you can develop locally. You can develop local economies, and that can allow you to build your military, or you can trade, and that also allows you to develop your military. But still, that is an accessory. The name of the game is Conquest. I would still, however, recommend that you also do the trade aspect of it and the trade aspect of the game, because I think it does enrich your experience at least somewhat. And I was thinking about doing a gameplay video on it. However, uh, I don't particularly think it would be interesting to watch. Like, I have fun playing it, but I don't think it is really visually as appealing to watch someone interact with various caricatures, and then various characters in admittedly pretty limited ways. So while the game itself is somewhat interesting, it would not be interesting enough to make videos on, or at least not gameplay videos. I might still do a formal review on it. And next up, r slash no context. You'll remember that a while ago I did I did a pair of videos on r slash rare insults and r slash rare compliments, and really that kind of spurred my curiosity or my interest just a little bit, and and I thought maybe I could do that with more subreddits where I just kind of casually browse in and chime in, browse and react to what is there. And one of the things that was recommended that I thought about, or one of the subreddits I thought about going over was r slash no context. However, after visiting it, I thought it would be a good opportunity for out of context humor. After visiting it, I realized that is not exactly the case, or I realized that I would perhaps try to fill in some kind of context, and that really, and I don't know, that somehow didn't sound like a good video idea, at least not for now. So I decided against that. Another subreddit I thought I could mine for content is r slash bad history. Uh, in case you're wondering, it is exactly as it sounds. It is about that that subreddit is full of people presenting bad history takes and then explaining why those takes are bad. That that I have nothing against the people who find that interesting. In fact, I would count myself among them, even though I'm not in that in that particular. I don't think I'm subscribed to that particular subreddit, or I don't know what you do with Reddits, with subreddits in particular. However, I could tell that it would not be particularly interesting for this visual medium for me to uh, sit down or stand up and then just scroll and read through uh, and read through a whole lot of pretty high level history and a lot of high level observations. That or okay, that might be interesting for some people, but I don't, but I don't think but I don't think it really works with I don't think it really meshes well with what I would be interested in. Uh, I would be interested in presenting. Moving ahead, uh, the the next video idea what I decided to scrap was THG Simulator Literary Figures. THG in this case stands for the Hunger Games. There is a the Hunger Games simulator somewhere online, and the idea behind it is that it takes the uh, characters from the first Hunger Games, and then uh, randomly spits out a bunch of situations that can happen over the course of over the course of the games in terms of how they are in terms of how they are structured, and it can have any variety of winners. Any variety of winners. As far as I can tell, pretty much pretty much every outcome and every participant is random, so you can have a whole bunch of potential results. Most interestingly, however, you don't have to do it. It's not solely the you can do it not solely with the characters from the Hunger Games, but also you can upload photos and names of various other characters with which you can uh, with which you can put in a Hunger Games situation, and then have these characters battle it out uh, in pseudo random events. And you can also alter the various to some extent at least you can alter the various kinds of uh, uh, Hunger Game of you can alter various parameters of the games in order to make in order to make the situation a little bit more interesting. I thought I would do a video like this, but with literary figures. However, um, I had some trouble. I had some trouble building up or figuring out a roster of characters that I would really want to throw into this situation, especially when you consider that I kind of wanted to keep it in theme. So because of that, I skipped over this. I decided not to pursue this video making endeavor. Next up, a tier ranking of Naruto villains. I I have mixed thoughts concerning Naruto, as in I I think the anime was pretty good, at least the parts of it that I've been able to see, and the story in and of itself is perhaps interesting, even though it arguably wastes its potential, given all of the things all the things that it is trying to touch upon, but which its lens does not allow it to. Regardless, the one thing most people can agree about Naruto. Okay, there are two things people generally agree about Naruto. First of all, that the series has an amazing soundtrack. Second of all, that it actually has some very interesting villains. So much so that I actually was very tempted uh, rank them on a tier, with tiermaker.com, and I did find some tiers that would work for that purpose. However, I decided against that because when I looked through it, I realized I don't actually know enough about these characters to really talk about them, because most of what I know about Naruto has been through pop cultural osmosis, and also watching walkthroughs of gameplay watching gameplay walkthroughs from games based on this franchise, and reading through various wikis. So while I know while I know the broad strokes, I can't really say I know each of the characters or each of the villains well enough to where I can really delve into really delve into them and figure out what makes what makes each of them great, what makes each of them distinctive. and I can't really allot a particular value judgment on them because of that limitation. Moving ahead, casual discussion Pacific Rim. This one actually morphed a little because my initial thought was to talk about was the cross reference compare and contrast Pacific Rim with Independence Day, because in a sense they both operate more or less on the same level. They are about humanity coming together to stop an alien invasion, and that grants them perhaps a bit more staying power than the merits of their merits as movies would actually grant them. But but as I try to think of a script for that kind of video, I I realized I didn't really have enough material on them to really make an effective comparison, at least not on at least not on that front. Also, and it is for that reason that it changed to casual discussion Pacific Rim. However, even then, like, what can I say about Pacific Rim that what can I say about Pacific Rim that would actually fill out a video? And I don't just mean talking about it for 30 seconds. I want at least 5 minutes of content here, and I'm not sure I can, as of right now, really talk about Pacific Rim for a substantial enough amount of time to where people would actually be interested not just in clicking on the video but also in staying on the video. So for that reason, I have abandoned it. Maybe someday in the future I'll rewatch Pacific Rim, maybe even Independence Day, and be able to compare them or talk about either of them individually. Okay, next up, Death of the Guitar Solo. This one is admittedly a little bit exaggerated, but I could say something like Rise and Fall of the Guitar Solo, something like that. Because I couldn't help but notice that no one does guitar solos anymore. Like even just looking into the rock and metal scene, guitar solos as a whole have kind of fallen in disfavor, if I may say so myself. And I was going to make I was gonna make a video about where I would talk about that and maybe discuss like cultural implications and how the structure of songs changes and how the ways the genres accommodate for that led to the dissolution of the guitar solo. But truth be told, I am not a musicology expert, nor have I really listened, especially recently, to enough music to where I can really say that that my conclusions or that my observations are generally correct. So for that reason, this is not something I talk about either. Moving ahead, now I'm gonna talk about the last unused concept, and for the first time and for the first and only time in this video, I'm gonna talk about something that I initially wanted to do on my main channel. A link to which you will find in the description down below. Namely, I wanted to do a poetry review of a particular book, Party Blues by Ismael S. Rodriguez. I started reading through this book, but about 3, 4, or 5 poems in, I threw in the towel because I realized I was out of my depth. And given my record with poetry wasn't great to begin with, I decided, okay, that's it. I'm not doing poetry anymore because I cannot keep up with it. It is not something that really intrigues me to the point where I would want to make videos. I do still have two poetry volumes that I already have reviews out on. I'm not going to touch those. But in the future, I'm not going to talk about I'm gonna talk about poetry reviews. I'm not gonna review any more poetry. I think that was actually the third category that I mentioned. So yeah, that was everything I couldn't do. As for what I can do, well, how about you stick around and discover, or you can just go through my previous videos and look into what it is that I've actually done so far. So you at least have an idea. I do have to say though, I do intend to go a little bit broader than than what it is that has been shown. Until then, however, thank you for your attention. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Maybe even share the video wherever you think other people will like it as well. If you have anything you'd like to add to either to my presentation style, which right now is off the cuff and different from my usual, or to the ideas that I have since abandoned, well, that's what the comment section is for. And if you want to see when my next video gets released, well then please subscribe. And ideally also ring the bell or do whatever else YouTube will ask of you in order to keep you notified. As I've mentioned already, I have a main channel where I talk about book-related and literature topics, a link to which you will find in the description down below, right past my social media links, which I also suggest you check out should you choose to. You'll also find my Patreon listed down there, in case you want to support me more directly and receive perks such as early access to videos and scripts, both for this channel and my main one. Until next time, I have been the One Take Man.